Hello, good afternoon everyone. My name is Angie Pineda, and today I will be going over my topic on social presence in distance education. So just to share some background on why I'm focusing on this topic. So currently at my company, my management team is interested in revamping the LMS Administrator Training Program. And by revamping, I mean simplifying the program. So our current state today with the program, in their opinion, is time-consuming and a waste of resources. And so their solution, or their proposed solution, is to completely remove the need for in-person training or in-person interactions, and replacing that with fully remote training modules. Now, I, to a certain extent, agree with the need for improvements and simplifying, but removing all social interactions is a concern in my opinion. Just from my first experience of taking an online course, during my bachelor's year, I took a statistics class. It was fully remote. I didn't have a need to interact with my professor, so no teacher-student interaction. I had no reason to interact with my peers, so any classmates. There was no activities. Everything that I did was on my own, and I never got feedback. So work that I submitted, papers, assignments, I never got feedback. I got a grade, but no feedback. And so overall, this experience was pretty isolating. And based on my first experience, removing all social interactions is not going to be a great learning experience for students or any learner. And so that's why I have the concern of removing all elements of social interactions. So my topic focus for this reason is going to be covering, well, what is social presence? Why is social presence important in an online learning environment? And how to incorporate social presence. So I'm going to be covering just different strategies of how social presence is incorporated. So I'm going to just start off with some definitions. I'm going to be covering quickly just the theoretical framework of community of inquiry. So this was introduced by Garrison in 2000, and so this framework highlights three key elements, and so those elements are social presence, cognitive presence, and teacher presence. And so these three presences do go hand in hand, but my focus is going to be on social presence. But Garrison does highlight that these three elements are going to be essential in an educational transaction. But like I said, I will be focusing on social presence. So just to give you a definition of what is social presence. So this is described as ability to project one's personal characteristics in an online community or environment. So therefore, presenting themselves and to other participants as real people. So how can we incorporate social presence? And so I'm going to be covering three specific strategies that was covered in the readings that I covered. The first one I'm going to be discussing is course design strategy. So social presence can't be initiated through the design of the actual course. So for example, by developing a welcome message. So a welcome message is going to be really important in an online course, because this is how an instructor can briefly, either through videos or through a statement or through even just giving up or posting their pictures, this gives the students an opportunity to get to know their instructor. Since we are not physically in a room together, the instructors needs to find ways to connect with their learners. And so, like I said, it's either through a welcome message, showing their pictures, presenting themselves as real people. Another example could be collaborative learning activities. So these activities are ways to increase that learner-to-learner interaction. And so this also creates social presence. So an example of that could be discussion posts. So as we know how discussion posts work, there's a question, student replies, and then another student replies to that student. So that gives students the opportunity to interact and engage with one another and learn from each other. Social presence can also be incorporated by the instructor. So there are instructor strategies, but I will be highlighting just one of them. So instructors do play an important role in establishing social presence. In a way that an instructor can do that is by contributing to discussion posts. So sometimes it is forgotten how it's often forgotten that instructors do play an important role in discussion posts because they could also be contributing to those. And they do forget that discussion posts is representing or replacing that verbal discussion interaction that usually happens in class, but now it's going to be done through an online way, which is through discussion posts. So it's really important that instructors are active, they're not passive, and they're interacting with their students. So this form of interaction then helps create a social connection with all the members in the class. There are also participant strategies, so it's not only on the instructor, but also the participant. So same thing, that students also have the responsibility to create social presence by contributing to discussion posts. It's important that students are also interacting with the other students. If students are not interacting, then there is no social presence. There's no way for other students to then respond to them and to interact. So participants do have an important role in this as well. So in conclusion, based on the ratings that I had read, incorporating elements of social presence is a critical piece in designing and implementing an online learning. So the studies do show that social presence impacts the student's satisfaction, learning outcomes, and also increases positive perception in online learning. And so as I discussed, there are a lot of different ways that social presence can be incorporated. So it can be done by the course design, it can be done through the instructor strategies, and also through participant strategies. So what I covered are only examples, but there are more opportunities to incorporate social presence. So for that reason, online learning should not be seen as a cop-out. It can't be something that people think I can simplify it by turning it into a module. We shouldn't look at it in that way. It should be seen as an opportunity to improve the learner's experience. And so I am a strong supporter of social presence, social interaction, and incorporating that. And those are my references. That is it. Thank you.